things that are coded within different messages. One of the motifs is, again, how the television, and you can see that there, has done a great deal with propaganda, or at least eliciting certain states of mind into the hearts of the people.
Welcome back to the Artist Connection. We have Mason, and Mason, we have 3 of your pieces here that we want to get some insight on. So please explain to the audience this one here, this middle piece, the name, if it's for sale.
Yes. So the name is on the back. I don't know the name of that one, but it came from my studying the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. And you can see that down here. And I played on word as far as friendship goes, because there was a betrayal that happened during this time, or at least this reconciliation of, or passing down one treaty to the next, or at least one land to another land, from one custodian to another custodian.
Okay.
And the fiendship part comes in, where the people were used in an extremely detrimental way. The chattel type of exchange was happening. The bodies were being traded, and that's where you can see the fezes, the moon and the star, again relates to Islam, or at least that's what they're saying the beginning religion was, or at least the civilized self became out of. And you can see here the silver coin, or at least what you have titled Judas, and that's what they oftentimes pay for the time and the talents of the people, and auction them off. Moving up, you have the fire of the I am, and there's always the elephant in the room when we talk about how the church disseminates the family. They say Father, Son, Holy Spirit, but where's the woman? How did the family, generate itself? How is the family sustaining itself? Who was the womb? Man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is all over there, and I notate that there is a fire and a fury that's happening right now with the women in our world who are seeking the return to their rightful place. So, and that is, to me personally, would be at the head. Not that they are ruling out of strength or anything like that, but when you look at nature, you see that the men, or at least the male parts of that clan or that society, do everything they can to protect.
Right.
So getting back to nature has been one of the main things. So just that, and then of course you got the family. You have the man, you have the child, because that's the center right now of every household, is where the child comes from. And within, you can see it says evolve, and that's where we are right now. We're coming back from a state, from a low state, into the higher state. And there are different things that are coded within different messages. One of the motifs is, again, how the television, and you can see that there, has done a great deal with propaganda, or at least eliciting certain states of mind into the hearts of the people, just based on what they see and who's there to help them interpret it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, what size is this piece?
This one is, I would say, that's 3 feet by 2 feet, so it's 29 by 32. So it's around that. I know that the frame is a little bit larger, but the piece itself is like 29 by 32. Okay.
And is it for sale?
Yes. So this is for sale. We can do prints of any one of the pieces, but right now I'm looking for homes for these pieces that they'll be protected, and that they can be seen by people, again, who can answer certain questions for me within the work.
Okay. And how much is something like this around?
This one is, I believe, $12.50, and that is for the rights to utilize it for personal use. Asking price for ownership is different.
Okay.
So that is up for discussion. you know, on a person-to-person basis, you know, what you come in at.
Okay, all right. Then we have the piece to the left here. Explain this piece.
So there's a song that comes to mind every time I see this piece, and it's "I miss the rains down in Africa." Okay. I don't know if you see that. Watch that video, because there was something extremely sinister to what it meant for them to fantasize about Africa and what happened with those people there. And you can see the how can I say, the ideology of conquest in the paleface, and that's what they would call them when they would arrive. And then again, the serpent being above, but their how can I say it, their prize was the family, was to separate the family, the woman of each tribe, and that's where you can denote the use of the legs being open. You have the hair doubling also as the mustache. So these are the things that came from my research, and noting that conquest is deadly, and it changes things. It changes the course of history depending on who's telling it and why they went, for what resources, and where are they taking those resources. And we know now that those resources were the people.
Right.
And again, this is the lower side, which you can see the dissonance. You can also see those who did have clanship, the tears being shed. But moving up, again, we are coming out of that state of how can I say, adverse conquest, and we're returning to home. We're returning to what religion really stands for, which is the practice, one's everyday things. What are you doing every day to keep yourself and to live by, and things of that nature. So we're coming back to the higher self, and that's what you see, the eye up above, which is the mind's eye, and that's all.
Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, open for all of your art needs. Located at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Mondays through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now featuring African American and contemporary artwork for local, national, and international artists. Your local shop for masks and statuettes, mud cloths, royal cloths, and salt lamps. Call 414-444-5166 or follow their Facebook. Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue.
Always where we would seek to reference, or at least seek to knock in a way.
Right. I noticed some similarities in these two pieces. You start at the bottom and you move yourself up.
Yeah.
Is that a good?
And again, it depends on how my studies made me feel. Sometimes it do really make me feel low. It makes me feel like nothing at times, because I'm like, if this is true, then where we are right now is that all of this belongs to us.
Right.
And if you look at how they're utilizing the world, it tells you that man was given dominion over the lands and over earth to do with it as the Spirit gave them to do, which was to till the soil, to be fruitful and multiply. Well, now the rhetoric is different. It's contrary. You got these different types of Plan B, Planned Parenthood, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The family is constantly under attack. So that's why sometimes I do start at the bottom. Other times I just start. I don't know where I start with the pieces.
Right.
I just know that they come together. So
now, how much is this one here? Or is it for sale?
This one I'm holding on to
for
now. Again, because there's more research to this piece that I want to know. Now, I do want to make prints so that people can, get a print of it, but the original is going to stay with me for a while.
Okay.
So that one's not for sale. No price on that one.
I like that you're doing research on your pieces.
Yeah.
To come up with what you're putting on paper. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna skip all the way over here to the right. Explain this piece here to the audience.
So growing up in the church, we were often taught that, or at least the thing was constant repentance, and the battle within oneself is always the carnal desires, is what they would call them, and that is again starting with the heart's matter. Well, if we were born into this world and they say it was of sin, out of sin, then that means that something about that particular behavior is what we were designed to do. Within this, I took that that holy self, or at least the idea of being holy, and battling oneself, which would be the other side, the lower self, and when asking, are you sure with the choices that you make? I also doubled this piece to show more again about conquest. What happened when they went to convert those people? They had already had those languages. They already had those ways of life. And that is what you see above the head. That's always on the mind of man. Where do I stand now as far as religion goes? Because they tell us that the white man gave us this. But then when you look at it, it also talks about the lineages of the people that were before the people that gave it to us. So there's so many questions. Above the top, on the top, you have two wolves. You have the one of love and the one of hate. And then even within the mouths of the wolves, you have those who watch over us, those who help us and assist us in balancing our decisions. And those are the more ethereal spots. The use of the dragon eating itself is the representation of eternal life. And then again, within the face or within the circle of the dragon is the womb. And that's where all man would have gotten their crowning, because at the moment before you or as you're making the breach, you become crowned. And we're not in a space right now emotionally, physically, or spiritually to understand that we already have our kingly nature or our queenly natures based on us making the breach here earthside. Right. So there's so many different parts to this piece that are still in the works and in the makings for me. Like this right here, this is a symbol. It's one of the Adinkra, which is no one knows but God. And that's where I like to leave a lot of, my unanswered questions, is that as long as I'm knocking, if I'm knocking in the right way, that it can be done. And I can make these things come to me if I continue to do the work that I'm being called to do. So, and that's to create.
Yeah. Now one last thing. This jacket that you have on, I want to focus on that. I know you mentioned it earlier, but now you're standing up. So I want to get some good shots of that and explain. I know you explained it earlier, but give a little bit more.
So again, right over the heart, we got the question of the principle or the principal, which is the EL or the AL. It's a big difference when it comes down to law and where you stand on either side of that line. The reason I use blue is because when you're signing something, or at least the royal nature of things has been blue, is signing in blue ink. And that's just based on documentation and things that I've been reading. It also is the representation of the hottest part of the flame. It's blue. It's not the stuff above. It's the stuff that's within. Again, you can note that the different faces are the things and the people that I've met along the way. I've met some kingly people, and I've met people who just outright want to go against what I'm speaking on. And it's because they either don't understand, or spiritually it's just a thing for them to just be rebuttal. On the elbow, we have, I was big on suit jackets with the elbow patch. Those were my thing at a point in time. But this allows for me to still take on the mantra, to carry, myself in a more kingly way, but it gives me the comfort of streetwear. And then it goes all the way on the back, where you got more, and the longer I keep them, the more I work with them. But again, I do my best to make sure that the message is always over the heart, because that's what I'm dealing with every day, is trying to search for the answers to my questions on where I stand. Is that sovereignty? Is this a black and white thing? And 9 times out of 10, it comes down to it being a black and white thing, and not the color of the skin, but the paperwork. Right. The transfer from oneself to the next, and that has to do a lot with where you stand, legally. So, again, I walk this, or at least I'm doing my best to live out my sovereignty through the paperwork and through just me living it, being it. Would say I am that I am. and that is to be who I've been called to be my base desires, so that I can bring my base desires to a higher self. Because some people don't understand that you weren't bad. You just didn't have somebody to help you take what was a negative reaction to society and make it something that they love, because that's really what it is. You just don't understand how to use it yet.
Yes.
You don't have a coach. There was no, and that's what, again, back to the problems of the art world. The art helps you see.
Right.
No matter where you are, it helps you see. And if there's someone there to help you interpret, then you have someone to, or at least you have a reflection of on demand of what is on your heart. Oh, okay, I see that.
Right.
I feel that, now I see it. So now I can go and research it because this person helped me to figure it out. Or you can get your answer from the abstract. It all depends on, if the artist puts it out there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Mason. Thank you for watching. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The Artist Connection podcast was generated from many conversations with local artists around the lack of opportunity to showcase their talent. Here at Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing, we recognize our local talent and strive to connect artists with the community. Please enjoy this opportunity to hear from local artists and learn more about what inspires their work.
Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing specializes in custom framing, printing on canvas, and selling contemporary and African American art, all housed in our 3,000 square foot art gallery. We are centrally located in Milwaukee at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. We recognize local artists and strive to connect local talent with the community. We're asking for your support. Contact us to find out how you can help sponsor the work we're doing to highlight local artists in our community.